NR's 2018 Spring Webathon is seeking to raise $210,000 to help your favorite website. If for some magical reason I have already persuaded you, then go straight here to make your selfless contribution. Should you need more persuasion, let me tell you about one of the reasons why we seek this specific amount. Now, a couple of weeks back I did supply the full laundry list of objectives, but let's focus on just one, a finance reporter. Why that? It's obvious, and also beneficial. The obvious side, we believe someone reporting on the markets, on tax policies, on related regulations, Dodd-Frank, Sarbanes-Oxley, and all those other prosperity-choking double-named legislative disasters. And assuming that person is hired, and performs very well, we are betting that it will create an advertising environment conducive to finance industry types. Which means revenue. Which means, someday, no more webathons. So your generosity here is really an investment in NR. Can we count on you to make such an investment? I hope so. You know, several hundred folks have done so since we launched this drive, and many, with their contributions, have left an encouraging word or two, which we are happy to share. Here is a trio of generous, randomly picked souls. Okay, this one not so randomly picked. Glenn from Tacoma spots us a kind 50 smackers, and then confessed, "Lot here I ignored all of Jack Fowler's pleas for money." Imagine my shock and shame when I found myself face-to-face with him in Seattle at a Jane Orlinger, Michael Medved event. Thanks Glenn. Usually people describe a face-to-face encounter with yours truly as stomach-churning. Susan from LEJ GA also tossed $50 into the collection plate and wondered thrisely, did the U.S. have a revolution in 2008? Can the presidency ever recoup from the disrespect and continuous attacks since the inauguration? What is rule of law? Somebody answer her while I say thank you very much. Also not randomly picked, a few Sundays back, to be precise, Street Martha from Houston gave a lovely $150, and this lovelier note, which reads as follows. Dear Jack, I was unable to ignore your street Crispin maneuver, despite my irritation with the often repetitive and predictable Trump grousing of NR these days. Truly, I marvel at your gambling gambits for cash. Anyway, I needed to refresh my memory of the actual feast day and came across this lovely commentary, which I thought you would enjoy, too. Happy 4th Sunday of Easter and blessings, ah shucks, and thank ye. Inspired. I do hope so, because we are still a ways off from our goal of raising $210,000. Please donate $10 or $25 or $50 or $100. What if just this once you added a zero before the decimal point to such numbers? Be so moved, and maybe to even another zero, if you're capable of contributing $2,500, or maybe even dare I say $25,000, hey, it's happened. And our need is quite real. Make your donation direct to NR here. If you prefer PayPal, send your help to NR here. And if stamps and envelopes are your thing, mail a check payable to National Review to us at 19 West 44th Street, Suite 1701, New York, New York 10036. We remain deeply appreciated to any and all who provide us any level of help. Not for nothing did we call my April 10 column, Trump's de mini mess. It was a reference to what seemed a political tempest in a legal teapot, a hush money payment to a porn star who claims to have had an extramarital sexual encounter with the president a decade before he was elected, shortly after. Read more. NR's 2018 Spring Webathon is seeking to raise $210,000 to help your favorite website. If for some magical reason I have already persuaded you, then go straight here to make your selfless contribution. Should you need more persuasion, let me tell you about one of the reasons why we seek this specific amount. Now, read more. Former FBI Director James Comey criticized the National Rifle Association during a book tour appearance in Miami Wednesday, arguing that the group sells fear to gun owners to ward off popular support for restrictions on gun rights. Asked what policies he would support to prevent mass shootings like. Read more. Our society often sacrifices law-abiding and productive people to protect the dysfunctional from themselves. The current attack on opioid addiction threatens more of the same. To prevent overprescribing and pill-pushing, pain patients who need strong drugs to function are being pushed off their proper. Read more. Greg App, writing in the Wall Street Journal, is skeptical of a federal guarantee of a well-paying job. He fears, justifiably, that it would cause the private sector to shrink. But he's not concerned about the price tag. Yes, a job guarantee would cost a fortune, but ignoring the obvious political Read more. Here is the transcript of the tax discussion from The Economist interview. By the way, read more. The proposal by Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson to increase the tenant share of rent for public and subsidized housing has quickly drawn fire. Under the department's draft legislation, most able-bodied tenants would pay 35% of their gross income, while under current law they pay 30%. Read more by Jason Sneed. Von Spakovsky. Last week, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals gave a big boost to election integrity efforts in Texas and throughout the nation. In a 2-to-1 opinion authored by Judge Edith Jones, the court upheld Texas's revised voter ID law, SB 5, against claims of racial discrimination. The ruling was the latest